Hello everybody and welcome back to Get Indie Gaming, where once again we're taking a look across the various stores and platforms to pick out some of the most intriguing and upcoming indie games expected out this week. Huge thank you and shout out to our patrons, and if you're interested and able, check out the link on screen now or down below to come on board and join the small but distinguished Get Indie Gaming Patreon community. With that covered, let's see what's coming out this week. Up first, and yes, we know what many of you are probably thinking with this, our first pick of the week. Gleamlight goes on sale on Thursday, August 20th. Well, let's politely say it's wearing its inspiration and perhaps a little too front and centre. Responding to these, let's call them concerns, and quoted by way of Polygon towards the end of last year, the developers have indicated the game features beautiful stained glass artistry, with the dev team saying they are aware of Hollow Knight, although the game has nothing to do with that title. In any case, well, Gleamlight does look interesting, particularly in what seems to be the lack of a standard UI navigation system so commonly in use with such games. Will it be any good? Well, we'll find out later this week when it comes to Steam, the PlayStation 4, the Switch, and the Xbox One. Up next, and also out on August 20th, we have Train Sim World 2, which comes from the folks at Dovetail Games, and is the follow-up to the original Train Sim World. We haven't spoken about how much we've enjoyed playing the original game, at least not here on the channel or on other aspects of social media. It is, however, one of those sims where you're really able to fully immerse yourself, aside from a few quirks here and there, in doing the actual job of actual train drivers, all in real time. The successor promises an even greater level of realism with improved engine dynamics and even having realistic wheel slip and wheel slide under adverse conditions and steep inclines. I'm probably most looking forward to taking the cab of the famous, trust me on this, DB Ice 3M out of Cologne, although in truth I am equally looking forward to settling down on the Bakerloo line and hauling freight across Sand Patch Grade and the Cumberland Terminal. I'm honestly not joking here. The original Train Sim World is by far and away the sim game I've played the most, and this can't come out any sooner. Train Sim World 2 lands this week, coming to the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and the PC by way of Steam. Coming up now, and to be honest, we were super conflicted about putting this one, The Eternal Castle Remastered, into this week's rundown. Not because we don't think it looks an interesting game, but rather due to how it's being brought to market. The blurb says this is a remake and a remaster of an original game called The Eternal Castle from way back when. It seems to be a take on that Fargo line in the film at the start where they say it's based on a true story, which of course it wasn't. In any case, there's no denying The Eternal Castle Remastered is a visual assault with its garish colours and minimal looking animations. Actually, while we think of it, it really does look very pretty and cool and puts me in mind of many games from the time frame this one's trying to hone in on, particularly and most obviously Flashback and Prince of Persia. Said to be full of adventure riddles and quite possibly a speedrunner's dream, The Eternal Castle Remastered comes out to PC via Steam and Switch on August the 21st. Moving on, and firstly a warning. This one has some major flashing images which may be problematic to viewers with photosensitive epilepsy, and if that's you, please heed this audio and on-screen warning and move this video onwards to the next game. Cecconoid came out last year onto PC and came out yesterday as this video goes out on Tuesday the 18th of August. As you can see, this one's clearly inspired by those shooters from the 8-bit era, with this also being a twin-stick shooter with Robotron-style arena battles with 50 or so rooms. Long-time viewers will know we love our twin-stick games, and while this might not be as jolly wonderful as, let's say, Nex Machina, it should fill up a few hours while we can't decide what to watch on Netflix. Are you going to be picking this one up on the Switch? Feel free to let us know down in the comments. So up right now we have Pheonotopia Awakening, which comes from the wonderfully sounding Cape Cosmic developer, with it coming to the Switch as a timed exclusive for the North American region on August 20th. Here you play as Gale, a supposed normal villager whose life is forever changed when a starship appears over her village and whisks away all of the adults. As it happens, Gale is the eldest of the villagers left behind and takes a leadership role in looking after everyone else and presumably saving the villagers who were kidnapped away in that spaceship. Now we're just loving the look of this, with its fair nod to games in the Zelda franchise, with us like others thinking it takes most of its cues from Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. In a word, well, we're thinking this could be rather charming with its side-scrolling 2D combat and platforming, with it also offering up 50 different enemies, 12 boss encounters, and all of the usual in-game mechanics and narrative hijinks you would usually expect from such a game. It is a shame this seems to be exclusive, for now at least, to the North American market, as given its ever so cutesy look and feel, together with its feet firmly within the world of the Zelda franchise, could make this vibrant looking game a real hit across the eShop the world over. Hopefully those of us not based in the US will get a chance to play this at some point down the line. Up now, and only very recently announced as part of the Nintendo Indie World Showcase that finished not that long ago, Raji, an ancient epic, is out today, August 18th, and will be a timed exclusive on the Nintendo Switch. We've played Raji, an ancient epic, a few times over the past 18 months, and the gameplay and graphics are looking delightful. Raji, an ancient epic, is an action fighter adventure set within ancient India and is heavily rooted in Indian culture. This was a huge surprise to see, and this one will be added to our download list the moment we're able. Coming up now, One-Line Colouring comes out on August 21st, and it's inspired by classic pen and paper drawing Connect the Dots. One-Line Colouring looks like a visually engaging puzzle game where you compose and fold shapes into beautiful looking themed dioramas. There are over 100 different models to uncover, all within 6 different themes, where you're able to showcase your completed models. Each one of these is handcrafted, with clearly a whole heap of love, care and attention having gone into the overall design. One-Line Colouring can be found out this week for PC via Steam. The last but one of the most interesting looking indie games out this week is Griefhelm, a game that's only very recently popped onto our radar. All of this comes from a single developer, and we're super drawn to how all of this looks. At its heart, Griefhelm is a tactical dueling fighting game featuring medieval combat. The fighting looks really solid, with you seemingly having to use tactical foresight and nuance rather than just simple button mashing. Griefhelm comes with a dynamic and replayable campaign, although what's got us all excited here is the local and online 4 co-op options. This one pops out on August the 20th for PC via Steam. And lastly, for this week's rundown, having launched only a few moments ago after this video went up, our top pick for new indie games out this week is Spiritfarer. Now, we've been looking forward to playing this cozy looking management game about death and dying for many months. You play as Stella, ferry master to the deceased, where you build a boat and head off to explore the world while gathering spirits of the dead before setting them free into the afterlife. We're pretty chuffed to see a 2-player co-op mode here, with you able to buddy up on the sofa with someone else playing the part of Stella's cat, the delightfully named Daffodil. As you play, you'll mine and farm for resources, all the while crafting and adapting your boat to cater for the spirits you find along the way. We're hoping Spiritfarer is a nourishing and tranquil experience on not only the nature of death, but also with it hinting and teaching how to cherish and say goodbye to loved ones and family. Spiritfarer is out now on Steam, Epic, GOG, and all of the consoles, including being available on Xbox Game Pass. And with the surprise release of Spiritfarer, that's it for today's launch rundown video. If you've made it this far, please consider clicking that like button and subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. In doing so, will you really help us out in making this channel grow as we slowly but surely head towards the 100,000 subscriber mark. Also, be sure to check out our Patreon with a link to those on screen now or down in the description below. Either way, many thanks for watching, and we'll see you all here again soon for another indie game video.